your show now, press 1. To hear
Yeah,
important
yeah,
instructions,
yeah,
press
yeah,
2.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Here's
Let's
your
go,
call
y'all.
back into a live
Let's get
show.
it
We're
popping now.
reconnecting you now.
Uh, yeah, it's gonna be all right. Yeah, it's gonna be okay. Yeah, yo. Hump day is upon us now, and you know that the way it's going to go down is something that we didn't plan, but I know that, and we gonna get it going just like we a band. Play your instruments and make sure that it goes down without a hitch. And yo, I feel good about this show, and it's about to go down between me and you. You know, it's the Daily Go Get 'Em show, baby. And tonight we talking about just because you look like money. Just because you look like money, it don't mean that you got money. Just because you look like you're happy, it don't mean that you're happy. Just because it look like you're in love, it don't mean that you're in love. Just because it look like you have it going on, it don't mean that you have it going on. Just because it looks like you are financially well off does not mean that you're financially well off. You might have the whole value of the money that you have right on your back, and you're giving them all of that, and you're making sure that you look well turned out, but that ain't really what life is all about. You can go back to the crib and cry your long arms out. Hold on. Run it back. Yo, yeah, yo, you know that that's not what it's really all about. You might go back to the crib and really cry your eyes out because you know that your life ain't going the way that you want it. But we all got to go through this type of thing. And it doesn't mean that you're not a queen or king, but it doesn't mean that you have a pocket full of money in your pockets. It ain't going down like that. You spency pockets acting like motherfucking, yo, chill. Sit back, relax. We about to get real. You don't have to be an actor in this thing called life. This is not your stage. This is not your strike. You can make sure that it goes down, that you want and still be looked at. Yourself is respected. You check it. All right, and that's how it's going down on the Daily Go Get 'Em show. Just because you look like money. So it seems like the world is a stage and a whole lot of actors and players are on it, you know, and people are taking it like they do soap operas. You know how people used to watch the stories back in the day, and they used to get mad at the actors on the stories because the stories were so involving, and they got so wrapped up in the stories that they forgot that these people are just actors. They're just doing their job, and they're making it look real good. And we're doing that now in real life, social media and all that kind of stuff. So just because you look like a bag of money, just because you look like you got it going on, it don't mean that you going on. We supposed to grow up and out of this type of thinking. But how's that working out? Let's get it popping. Let's get it popping. Urban Therapy with Sun 752 with this your daily. The Daily Go Get 'Em show. We do this every single day. Every day it rains. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. We break it down, baby. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. Every day it rains and the DG will do the same. I'm your host, Sun 752, aka Omar with the. And if you can't say Omar with the, whether you just say Omar with the R, this is the Daily Go Get 'Em show, all up in your area. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should. Also, on this last day of August, you're going bye-bye. I've seen so many changes in the season since August started. In the beginning of August, you wake up 5:00 in the morning and it's still daylight. It's not like that now. The sun ain't up at 5 a.m. no more. It's dark outside. You know, the temperatures ain't 100 degrees no more. They like a bearable 80s and things like that, which is a good thing. But we see that the kids are back in school. In the beginning of August, they were still out. They were still romping and doing their thing. So it's the end of an era, but it's the beginning of a new one. So let's get it popping. I mean, tonight on the Daily Go Get 'Em show, we talking about just because you look like money. How many people do you know that look like money? How many people do you know that look like they spend all of their money or they have plenty of money to spend on designer? on labels. They popping tags out there. Looking like, that's a funny thing about our people. We really believe that people who look like they have money. When we all know that there have been times in our lives that if we was all about that gear, we went out and got that gear. Well, we spent all our money on the gear. We ain't had no money. We look like we went and spent our money on looking like we had money. And it might have been important to us at a time in our lives, but after a while, we had to put those silly toys away. Some of us put it away. Some of us made enough money to keep looking like we had more money than we had. And regardless of how much money we had, we might have always looked like we had more money than we had. So you could do it with clothes. You could do it with cars. You could do it with trinkets. You could do it with toys. You can do it with things. You can do it with a contract. Back in the day, come on now. Where are my children? Where are my peers that grew up in the 1980s and the 1970s? Because you know what I'm talking about. You know what it was like for your parents to get braces on your teeth, and that was supposed to symbolize that you had money. Now, you might have wore braces from age 8 all the way to 18. Because we could put the braces on you. Teeth braces. We could get the braces on you, but we couldn't get them off of you. So your teeth was getting straight for 10 years. All right, maybe not 10 years, but a good 5. And it ain't supposed to take that long. Probably wasn't nothing really wrong with your teeth in the first place. But your parents wanted you to look perfect. They want you to have a perfect pair of choppers. Should I say a perfect set of choppers? But it was a status symbol to have braces on your kids' teeth. It was a status symbol to send your kids to Catholic school. Now, anybody who knows anything about Catholic schools knows that all Catholic schools ain't cut from the same cloth, especially when there were 1,000 of them to choose from when we was growing up. But going to work with your little job and your little position and coming up in the world, it was nice to say that my child goes to St. this and St. that. She goes to St. this and St. that. And she goes to St. Mary, St. John, St. Paul, St. Peter, St. Chris, St. this, that, St. that, St. this. With braces on it. With braces. Remember back in the day, the school uniforms wasn't cheap. But the only time and the only people who had to get school uniforms were the kids who went to Catholic schools, the kids who went to parochial schools. Regular private schools didn't require you to well, most of them. There's some private schools that required you to have a uniform, but for the most part, your kids can come to school the way they want to come to school. But when you went to Catholic school, all of the boys had to wear tie. They had to wear slacks. They had to wear shoes. They had to have the vest with the remember the vest with the tie and the button-down shirt under the vest. You know what I'm talking about. You was looking awfully spiffy there in the 4th grade. While your parents was struggling like hell to pay for that tuition. But they made sure you wasn't going to stop going to Catholic school while they was working. Because you know what it meant if you had to take your kids out of Catholic school? That meant you couldn't afford to send your kids to Catholic school no more. Well, no. That's a fate worse than death. That's a fate worse than death. Just because you look like money don't mean that you got a bunch of money. Got a bunch of money. You can send your kids to St. this, St. that, St. Mary, St. Chris, St. Paul, St. Peter, St. Barnabas, Saint European name. Add one. What is this? I went to St. Barnabas school. Who was Barnabas? Who was St. Barnabas? Who sainted somebody named Barnabas? Well, anyway, what's going on, y'all? T. Carey, right? Morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site. And my brother from another mother, Norris Hill. Sit back, relax, do your thing, Max and chill, and Robbie Ming. Yo, doing the thing. My big sis, she's something like a queen for a king. It's Stacey White, looking right. Thanks for coming on through tonight. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. This is the Daily Go Getimism Show, and we're talking about just because you look like money. With our people, with black people, there's a big push to make the world look like we have something. And I get it. I totally get it. I play the game myself. I like nice shit. I do. I like nice things. I want to always dress nice. I want jewelry. I like to drive something nice. I like nice home furnishings. I like electronics. These things cost money. But I will say I'm past looking like I have money, because there are too many people out here that really have money, and I can't look like them. So a nigga like me, I'm known to play games that I can actually compete in. The money game ain't something I can compete in. That would make me a big fish in a small pond. So we start talking about money back in the day. You might have been able to play along with that. You might have been able to play that game. You didn't have to be a millionaire to play that game. The cost of living was lower, and the cost of inflation was a lot lower. Nowadays, $1 million don't make you rich. How about that? And it really don't. $1 million does not qualify you as a rich person in this world anymore. You gotta have like multi-millions. You gotta have at least 5 millions to be running around here saying you rich, and you're still on the low end, the middle class of rich end of the spectrum. All right, but listen, I'm not trying to get in nobody else's pockets. I'm just trying to identify what we talking about right here. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to make sure we understand each other and know what we talking about. Know what I'm talking about? I forgot to take the cola ream out of the refrigerator. So yeah, that's what we talking about. Just because you look like money. Our people have been doing this for years, and sometimes it has really been detrimental to our health, to our community, to a whole lot of things. You know, the crack era in the 80s, a bunch of young black men selling rock cocaine, crack cocaine, trying to get a piece of the pie out there. And yeah, they were making good money, but it was like throwing good money after bad. So, for the toll that it took on our communities. But we looking like we got real money. A lot of that crack money was good money, but it wasn't real money. And that's the reason that I say it wasn't real money, because it wasn't going to last, and we knew it. It was 15-minute money. And I say 15-minute money because that's about the length of a crack high. 15 minutes. Because it was like you're high off of crack for 15 minutes. And for the rest of your life, you're chasing that feeling that you had in that 15 minutes. And in 15 minutes, somebody could come through and smoke your ass. In 15 minutes, your life could be left in the balance. In 15 minutes, your children won't have a father anymore. And a lot of times in the mother, because a lot of our little princesses and queens got killed with they king drug dealers back in the 80s. But there was a lot of Volvos, there were a lot of Jettas, there were a lot of Audis, there were a lot of Benzes, there were a lot of Beamers, there were a lot of Cadillacs, there were a lot of 98 Oldsmobiles fixed up, alpined out, mad speakers in the back, rolling up, trunk open, rocking the block. It was a lot of good Christmases, birthdays. There's a lot going on. But it was 15-minute money. No, none of the drug dealers that were back in the day are drug dealers today. As prominent, there are no drug dealers from back in that era who are still in the game doing the same thing, being able to rock out the way they were back then. It was impossible. It was 15-minute money. Just because you looked like money, it didn't mean that you really had money that was going to be sustainable. There was no turnover. There was no generational wealth that came from the drug game, and it still isn't. So it looked like you getting it out there. You ain't getting it out there, and the look that you were getting, like you was getting it out there at the time, was the cause of your demise. Peace to the ones who didn't get killed. Peace to the ones that just got shot up, shit bagged, and decathlete. What about them? Wheelchair for life, paraplegic. What's good? You see it before the shot. Big chains dripping, diamonds and all of that shit. After the shot, wheelchair. Or my baby ain't never hurt nobody. I've lost people to the drug game. You've lost people to the drug game, whether they were your family members, whether they were friends, whether they were associates, whether they were people that you admired, whether they were people that you just heard of, knew, seen before, and cared about. Looking like they had money. Just because they were looking like they had money didn't mean that they had money good enough that was going to save them, keep them here. They gone. All right. Now, the same thing can be said. Oh, I see that we have a caller on the line. Caller on the line. Caller on the line. Before I take the caller on that's on the line, I wanna talk a little bit about, we don't always just have to talk about just because you look like money, because looking like money can look like it can be metaphorically used to look like other things, other good things are going on for you in your life that may not. Acting like you're really in love, acting like your relationship or your marriage is in a good space, it's in a healthy space. It ain't. I ain't trying to hate on the ones where it is. But the ones where the healthy relationships that I know about, they ain't out there putting that shit out there like that. It's the ones that are really afraid that shit is going to burn out sometime soon. They the ones out there. Look, I got to put the poster board up to let you know I'm in a healthy, good, beautiful relationship. Love don't give a shit about whether you display it in front of other people. It wants you to represent at home. Now tell me I'm lying. I mean, because everybody might don't feel how I feel. But you know what I'm talking about. True love wants to make sure that you take care of home. I don't give a shit about what you trying to put out there in them streets. I don't want you acting like, I don't want you showing love in front of your mama and your daddy and your sisters and your brothers and your aunties and your cousins and your family down south and over on the West Coast. All your coworkers and my friends and all of that kind of shit. But when we get back to the crib, it's a whole bunch of chaos. It's a whole bunch of anger. It's a whole bunch of sadness. A whole bunch of crying. It's a whole bunch of complaining. It's a whole bunch of explaining. It's a whole bunch of messiness. That ain't what love wants. Love wants you to make sure that whatever you do out there, that's what you do out there. But when you come back up in this bitch, yeah, that's where we want love to play out for real. Word mother, for real. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we're going to take the caller. Hold on. Let me see what y'all talking about. What we talking about? All right. Stacey White says, I know people who dress down and bum cars when they don't have to. They have good jobs and nice homes. That's what's up. Nars Hill says, don't Just because I look like money don't mean I'm a loan officer. That's dope. Professional liar. Schoolboys admire. Young girls desire. Ah, he doing the Ice T-shirt. Ah! I remember that. I remember the song. I had the tape. I had the cassette. Wanna be a high roller. Hair always fresh. What do you say? Hair always fresh. Damn, man. I didn't even think about that song. You know what I mean? You wanna be a high roller. Yeah. Power was the shit. All right. Call up with the last numbers 4605. Welcome to the Daily Go Getimism Show. Thank you for holding. What's on your mind this evening, my brother, my mellow, my man? What you say? You behind this screaming?
I don't know.
You gonna have to play it again. You gotta play it again. You gotta cut it off. Yeah, I mean, YouTube will bang us if we actually play this song. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We can get like them first. Yo, you got me. You got me. You got me. You got me.
Something like that. Something like that. You don't know nothing about that right there.
I learned something. I learned something about it. I learned something about it. What's going on, my man?
You're gonna talk about the outside radio. The ones you had to snatch out the John to come back out in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You holding your Alpine radio with your beeper and your big ass cell phone in your hand.
Yeah, hammer rims.
I mean?
Hammer rims on your ride. What you know? Chrome down hammer rims. What's good?
Go around the corner and use the motherfucking payphone.
That's right.
Hey, listen. You know, back then money was money. I mean, you ain't had to dress, but you had to be. You couldn't come with Polies on and not rock the Reebok. You couldn't have leaves on and not have no name brand. You know, I think a lot of people don't understand back in the day. You know, Run DMC said the best. You know, and he ain't want nobody's name on his behind, but shit, we used to put names on the behind because, you know what I mean? Like, damn, from the two-tone Levi's to the, what was they, the Air Nikes with the blue and white one. You know what I mean? With the white on the bottom, you had to have that with the Kango, with the name belt. Remember the name belt? And then you put the Zodiac sign in the name belt and everything.
Mm-hmm. The Zodiac sign, the Playboy sign. You know what I mean? The money sign.
You had to fit in. Like you had to fit in. You couldn't rock that stuff without fitting in. Like, you know what I mean? Man, could you imagine your mom go buy you some sneakers on Payless and you're supposed to go to hospital with that shit on?
I've seen it done, but no, I can't imagine me doing it. But you know what? It's funny how DMC said, no, Run said Calvin Klein's no friend of mine, don't want nobody's name on my behind. But they wore Lee's. What, Lee is not a name?
Nope. It's 3 letters.
Yeah, well, a lot of people was wearing them 3 letters on their behind. You know what I mean? I always thought that line always baffled me. Like, just say you don't want his name on your behind. Don't say you don't want nobody's name on your behind because you had a name on your behind. We all did.
They did. Hey, yo, let me ask you something. How hard was you to rock that shell top with no shoestrings in them?
I never did that. You know we didn't do that shit in Philly. You know what I mean? We did not do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, Run DMC could do whatever they want to, and maybe the rest of the country did that shit, but we ain't do that shit. We had laces and all this shit. First of all, shell tops ain't no comfortable sneakers. So they not staying on your feet. They ain't staying on your feet if you don't put no laces in them. So I don't know what kind of feet Run DMC had, but that shit wasn't working. You sure wasn't running nowhere. And you know, when you a teenager, you run places. You always running somewhere. Think like the movie Cooley High. They was running everywhere. You know what I mean? But yeah. But but it's a funny thing. Run DMC was getting money. Them other rappers, they actually weren't getting money. But Run DMC introduced me to a lot of things. I can't say that they introduced the world to them because they were doing different things in New York that we didn't know about. Like I didn't know what a dookie rope was until I saw Run DMC rocking one. I was like, wow, look at that. It was the dopest thing I ever saw. But they were just doing what they saw the drug dealers doing. The drug dealers were the ones that had the real money. You know, so they were just portraying and acting like what they saw on the streets. You know what I mean? But so but I mean, look, they made Adidas a household name. You know, we was wearing the sneakers, but all of the gear, all of the, you know, those thick Adidas sweatshirts was the shit. Run DMC Run DMC was big in introducing that. They wasn't on the map for clothes like that, you know, just the sneakers. And we only respected two pairs of Adidas. There was the shell tops and the top 10s. We didn't care about none of the other Adidas. Think about it. Like if you had a pair of shells, yeah. And if you had a pair of Timbs, you was rich. I mean, I'm sorry, a pair of top 10s. If you had a pair of top 10s, you was in another tax bracket. Like your parents must be lawyers. You know it's the truth. Especially when they came out with the patent leather. When they came out with the patent leather top 10s, I was like, wow.
But you gotta realize we had our own fashion because I'm gonna make you laugh. Paul Mary's and a pair of Gucci sneakers.
Yeah, I'm just saying. We had our own thing. We ain't have to. There were some things we didn't have to copy. You know what? It's a funny thing. I was watching. I don't know if you watch on Stars. Do you? I don't know. Do you watch Power?
Yeah.
Okay. I was watching the first episode of Raising Canaan, and and it was set in 1985. And the funny thing is, they messed up the timeline because it was 1985, and they were showing they showed the boys having a bomber, a leather bomber. I was like, no, there wasn't no leather bomber in 1985. That came out in 1986 because I was right on it when it came out. 1985, we were still in sheepskins. You know what I'm saying? You had to wait until 1986.
And an A-Rod jacket.
And a what?
What's the jacket begin with an X? The jackets begin with an X.
Averex.
Averex. Yeah.
They ain't come out to they ain't come out to the 90s. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you could afford one of them. You know what I mean? You had to know how to go get them Jones. You know what I mean? They was at NY, so it doesn't really know how. See, a lot of people don't know. Like they try to take it back, but they don't know how to really take it back. You know what I mean? Like for you, for instance, like the first day that I really bumped back into you again, I thought you was up there like that. I thought you was, I ain't gonna tell everybody what I called you, but you know what I called you the first night I met you. You had your Suki rope on and what you calling. I was like, all right, bro, like go LL, you know.
Man, I ain't never have a dookie rope. That's the one thing in my life that I've always. It's the one failure in my life that I've had. Never had a dookie rope. I've been wanting a dookie rope since 1986.
Why ain't you get a dookie rope, man? You know what I mean?
Because I ain't have dookie muscles or dookie gun, and I ain't want to get dookie robbed, and that's exactly what was going to happen to me. I was not built for a dookie rope in the 80s. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
I don't think nobody was.
Well, some people was, and some people got away with it. But my little ass wasn't getting away with that shit in the 80s. They was going to relieve me of that rope with the quickness.
Especially if you had to walk down the 500 blocks of clean lane.
Now, I wasn't worried about it around the way. I was worried about it on the subway. I was worried about it when I went to West Philly. I was worried about it when I went to South Philly. I was worried about it when I went to Southwest. I was worried about it whenever I went into any other neighborhood, down the bottom, all that. It was crazy. Oh, yeah, when I went down to North Philly, they was going to take that. They was going to take it right off my neck. Whether they had to snatch it and take my neck with it, or whether it was going to be like 10 of them, you know what I mean, trying to stomp me out and decide later who gets the chain. You know, so I wasn't, you know, I wasn't ready for all of that. You know what I'm saying? It would take it would take a few years before I was ready for that challenge.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, yo, the song that you said that the boy said that was on his first album, right?
Who, Ice-T?
Yeah.
No, Power was his second album. His first album, I want to say, because his first album, he had a couple of singles. He had "Dog in the Wax" and "You Don't Quit," and then his first album, he had "Make It Funky" and "I'm Your Pusher" and all of that on it. So I can't. Rhyme Pays was his first album. Rhyme Pays, that was the name of the album. Rhyme Pays, yeah. With his girl Darlene on the cover.
I got the second album here with the Power album on here.
Power was his second album. Yeah, that was his second album. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was his second album.
But you know, talking about getting back onto the subject, we had a little fun. You know, being, you know, acting like you got money and dressing like you got money, you really don't got money. To me, growing up, man, like you said, we seen nice things. Like we seen it all. Jefferson Avenue, Sharp Avenue used to have sneaker stores like crazy, man. You had to have the right sneakers. I remember when Adidas came out with carpet sneakers. Remember that? They had the carpet on the Adidas sign.
Yeah.
I had to have a pair. Yeah, I was at Check Lane. That was my first job. What? Man, I left the store that and go down there and go get things on. But you know, you had to be funky, fresh, fly. Especially going to Martin Luther King or Jefferson, you had to be fly. You know, what school? What house did you went to? You went to Jefferson?
I went to Franklin Learning Center.
Oh, you was a nut. So anyway.
That's why you know everybody from around the way, because you went to the G. Wait, did you go to the G or you went to King?
I went to the G.
Oh yeah.
Early.
Oh well, that's
we ain't had lunch.
I know. Yeah, I remember that. I went.
What? Go to the farmers market, get the dirty chicken for a ride to me. What?
Yeah, that farmers market. That farmers market was everything. Everything.
Yes, it was.
That was the truth.
But you had to be in like with a clique. You ever noticed back then in the day, like when you used to go to the dollar parties, you had to be in. You had to know. Like back in the day, to go to a dollar party, first you had to have your dollar. Couldn't come with 4 quarters because everybody's gonna talk about you. You had to have a nice pair of jeans on and a haircut, a fresh pair of kicks, a pen and a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, we ain't gonna tell you what these knuckleheads do nowadays. But back then, what? Man, dollar parties used to be which one? If the chick that had no white stuff on the back of her shirt, you wasn't doing that.
What was the white stuff on the back of her shirt?
So, nigga up against the wall, man.
Okay. All right, I got you. I mean, somebody might have had the good paint. You know, we know nothing about that MAB. We know nothing about the MAB paint, you know.
They did on their shirt though, but you know, that was the thing. And then everybody go to school the next day and they talk about it and it's click and it's fresh and everything was good.
Yeah.
I mean, But then again, you never know who was broke until you went to their crib or something, and then you got to see, oh, well, damn, like why he did that? And then you find out people was boosters, people was living, you know, it's a shame to see how many people really struggle, but for to stay in that limelight, how they did though. You know what I'm saying? And you couldn't talk about it.
Well, see, but you know, I'm glad you bringing up like people's home lives and things like that, because you know, seeing how a person dresses and the things that they wear and the things that they had in school or work and things like that, you might think that, you know, like, you know, you might think that their parents have good jobs or have it going on or something like that. And then when you go over their crib, you realize like, damn, they don't even have a good relationship with their mom. You know what I mean? They mom or their dad might be abusive, you know what I'm saying? Or they might be on drugs. How many times have you gone over a friend's house and you realize like, oh shit, his mom's smoking? You know what I'm saying? You ain't know that. You ain't know that from what you were seeing them do in school or out there in the streets. But when you came home, you're like, oh shit, he basically raising himself. Or he might have been selling a little weed, or you know what I mean, doing a little doing some sales on the street. You ain't know all of that, you know, before. Yeah, everybody wasn't super flashy with this. Some people just had nice shit. It only took like one expensive article of clothing for people to think that you had money. All you had to do was have like a nice jacket. Like if you had like a butter leather jacket, people was looking like, oh my God, he got a butter leather jacket. I don't know. Do you remember the butter leather jacket that had the possum fur lining?
Yep.
Yeah. Now you know that jacket back then was like $600 or $700. Now we talk about in 1985, 1986. So everybody wasn't going to have that. Almost nobody did. But I knew a dude that did have it. And the reason that he had it was because his father was a drug dealer. He was getting that money, but then his father got killed. You know what I'm saying? So when you go home with somebody, or you find out about they home life or whatever, and you realize like, yo, 90 seconds. All that glitters ain't gold. You know what I mean? You know, it's easy to think that somebody has it better than you or has more than you until you really get to know them and find out that the scales aren't balanced. They have a lot here, but maybe in terms of respect, in terms of love, and in terms of self-esteem, and in terms of self-love, they might be missing all of that. And that's why they have to compensate by having all of these other things to speak for themselves, because their inside can't speak for who they feel like for themselves. It just does. It's not panning out. So, you know what I mean? But that's why I say, just because you look like money, I'm not just talking about, you know, money in terms of dollars. I'm talking about just because you look like money. When you look like money, you look like you have it going on. You look like everything is straight. You look like things are in order. You look like things are organized. You look like that you're ready for the world, or like you've accomplished a lot, or like you're proud of yourself, or that you're somebody to be proud of. That's what I mean by looking like money. It ain't always like that. A lot of times it's nothing like that.
But yeah, but you know, like when we was growing up, and like the come from of it, and what you call, like I remember playing basketball on Hansberry Street. You remember where the court was on Hansberry Street? Remember where the court was on Hansberry Street?
Of course.
Back there between Remember Thaddeus? Thaddeus could play with the best of them. You know what I mean? Thaddeus used to come with the new kicks on and play. You know what I mean? Yeah, you remember Thaddeus?
Yeah, that was my young boy. That was my young boy.
Yeah, he could play. So And they all like when you go up in the PJ, they used to talk about him and how he was the king, and he should have. I ain't never know what happened to him. But, it's a lot of people that should have made it that didn't make it. That man, yeah, we gotta go out one night. But yeah, I remember I could tell you about a lot of people that they just do they like down the drains and not follow their dreams of career, man. But we ain't have it all like that, dog. But we had to stay in the game, and the name of the game was to stay in the faction. And you couldn't do nothing. I was just telling somebody the other day, man, when you met a chick, you met him at the clothespin downtown. And you thought you was fat because you were going to the arcade and grown and going out to eat and then going to the movies. Mm-hmm. You had a family back in the day. You think you had money until you had to go in a neighborhood. Mm-hmm. So when you had to go in a neighborhood, you was fucked up because, when you went down to Kensington, you had to run to the train. You better hope the train there to jump on that mug. So, people always, think how shit was back in the day. It was crazy, but we had fun. You got the lyrics to tell another story, but guess what? You ain't going back there in Kensington for a while, so you was cool. So it's the same in there, and a lot of people we fronted like we had a couple of dollars. We had to go to school acting like we was bragging like we had it like that. But in the long run, when you go home and you shut that door, nobody knows the struggle that you go through shutting that door.
Exactly,
man. You know what I mean? Like I remember the twins back in the day. I ain't gonna say their name. I'll tell you later. They mom didn't beat them. They mom boxed them.
I know the twins you're talking about.
I was like, damn. I was scared just like a mother. Like, yo, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, that all that for not washing the dishes. Like, yo, I was good. And then, it was stuff that how we live, you know what I mean? Like, we had a bully that was a female in our neighborhood, and everybody was scared of her. You know what I mean? And you knew you wasn't gonna box her because she was gonna outlast you. You know what I mean? You was gonna give it up, regardless of how what when it was. She was gonna give it. She was the Debo of the neighborhood. You know what I mean? And you just might as well just go and give her your money because she was gonna either beat it out of you, or you might as well just go ahead because you know she was coming for you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's somebody you ain't want to box. But you rather be on her good side than her bad side. You know what I mean? So, it's just different from back in the day until nowadays. You know what I mean? Because when you look at people, we judge people and don't know the status of how we judge people, and we so quick to say who got what and what got this and who got that, and not realizing where that stuff comes from. You know what I mean? Like the crumb bun we used to work for. He talked a good game, like he had millions and millions of crack dollars and he had nothing. Broke ass nigga. I meant my fault. I ain't gonna put him out there. God, that's. But at the end of the day, he brought a friendship together. You know what I mean? He reunited two knuckleheads back together. That was kind of cool. So, but it's just a lot of things. People talk about you when you ain't around. Mm-hmm. And made you mad, but people hold you down. You know what I mean? I don't care what it was, hold you down and take care of you. You know what I mean? And it's just like a brotherhood. And sometimes it's really, really good to find people. Let me ask you something. How many friends you say you got? Not associate, friends.
Well, the friends that I have, I consider to be real friends, but under 10.
Exactly.
Probably under 5. Probably under 5, really.
You got a lot of them.
Huh?
Associates, you got a lot of them. You got a lot of associates.
Oh, I know a lot of people. I know a whole lot of people. But, when we start talking about what a true friend is, like, I'm not one of those people who always dismisses somebody as not being my friend. I'm not that person, but as far as if we're going to define what true friendship is, as far as me being able to depend on somebody and them being able to depend on me, that's the difference. You know what I'm saying? You might be my friend because I like you, you like me, we're cordial towards each other, we can kick it. But a true friend is somebody I depend on, or I can depend on, and that can depend on me. You know what I'm saying? That separates a lot of people as far as friendship. For me, it does.
As far as friendship wise, and then when you look at them and you see what they got and what they rocking, I can't believe you bought that. Man, hold up, though. How you pick Alpine over Kenwood? Kenwood radios was banging back in the Kenwood. Yeah, Kenwood's radios was banging back in the day.
No. Now Alpine was Kenwood ain't start knocking like that until the late 80s, early 90s. Alpine was the shit to have in the late 80s, mid to late 80s. Wasn't nothing beat no Alpine. That thing was on top. See, you're a little younger than me, you know what I mean? So, you know what I'm saying? Your perspective is a little different. You know what I mean? You was a little wet behind the ears, you know what I'm saying? Them 2 years, you was separated the wheat from the chaff. See, you ain't graduate high school to the 90s, you know what I mean? You was a late bloomer.
Yeah, you want to throw the card, you want to throw the age in the joint there.
I'm just saying, you know, you was a little young, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, player, you got that one. You got that one. It's cool. Just because you remember bread when it was 35 cents and the milk was $1, you cool. I got you.
See, by the time the Ninja Turtles came out, I was done with cartoons.
You crazy.
No Power Rangers for me. No Power Rangers for me. I don't know nothing about that. Huh?
That Saturday morning eating that good Captain Crunch, watching cartoons all day.
Yeah,
you know, I know.
Yeah, I know of it well. But before we get out of here, first of all, I'm glad you called in because you reminded me about some of some things, and we were pretty much on the same page when we were talking about it. Yeah, you know, just like you were saying, you don't know what's really going on with a person until you really get to know them, or when you really get to see them in a position that they may have been trying to hide, but are not able to hide at a certain time when you get to bear witness to what's going on with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's like the first time you see somebody mom cuss them out with real curse words, or the first time you see somebody mom whoop their ass right in front of you with no regard for their embarrassment. And it's like there's certain things that you it's not that you can't come back from them, but you're never going to be able to erase those things from a person's memory. You know what I mean? And when you're younger, that weighs really, really heavy on you. It's like the first time when you see somebody who acts all hard cry. Like, yo, y'all made him cry. Like you never thought you would see this person cry, and you did. And even though the reason that they cried or whatever might have been legit, you never thought that you would see them do that. So to you, they look like money, like they were tough enough, like they were hard enough, like they were impervious enough or reflective enough to be able to repel anything that came against them. No, weapons that were formed against them did prosper once or twice, and you saw that. So it might not have been that you looked at them as being weak from then on out, but you realize, like, damn, they skin, bone, flesh, bone, and hormones just like you, just like everybody else. But it may take a little bit more, or just a right set of circumstances to break them down. But nobody is made of steel. There are no supermen or superwomen out here. So, you know, looking like money. You know, I mean, people, we still doing it as 40, 50, 60-year-old adults. running around here saying, you know what I mean, I'll cut somebody off in the middle. I mean, in a minute. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I don't have time for these people in my life, these toxic people. You know what I mean? Blah, 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 blah. First sign of trouble. Like, you lying. You ain't been cutting motherfuckers off at the first sign of trouble. You come from trouble. You come from first, second, third, fourth, fifth signs of trouble. That's where you come from. Your mama was trouble. Your daddy was trouble. Your brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and cousins and people on your block and neighbors is all trouble. When did you get tired of people being trouble for you? You might have been tired, but you've been tired a long ass time. You should have been asleep for like 2-3 decades. you understand what I'm saying? Real shit. But we out here trying to look like money, trying to look like a bag of money. The bag of money ain't always the money. It ain't always the clothes. It ain't always the jewels. It ain't always the cars. It ain't always the homes. Sometimes the bag of money is your heart. Sometimes the bag of money is your strength, your resolve, your mental state. You trying to hold on. And what we're really trying to do is let people know that, listen, I don't want to be messed around with. I want to be able to trust. I want to be able to love. I want to be able to feel. I want to be able to just, kick my shoes off and be myself and portray myself to be what I really am. But I can't do that around here because I'm feeling like a lion around a bunch of hyenas, or I'm feeling like a hyena around a bunch of lions, and I can't get comfortable. These motherfuckers will bite me, and they ain't biting just to hurt me. They trying to kill me, take me up off of here. And it's a hard thing. It's a hard way to live in your life, but there's so many of us out here living it in real time. All right, man, we gotta get on up out of here.
Yeah, before you go, just remember, you know what I mean? Wu-Tang said it's the best. Cream, you know what that means, right?
Yeah, cash rules. I mean, cock rule. I mean,
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. And this is your man.
Listen.
4605.
If
the next day, my update you. Stay up, son, all right?
All right, man. Love is love, baby. Thanks for coming through.
All right.
Peace.
Peace out.
Good stuff. That's my man's right there. That's my man's. All right, y'all. Let's do these birthday shout outs. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious. Last day of August 31st, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, Janet Smith, turning 58 years old today, and also Yoshi Woods Malachite, turning 56 years old today. Go Yoshi. And also Kizzy May, turning 37 years old today, and she's raising money for the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Good looking out. And also Aisha Frazier, turning 40 years old today, and Patrice Chambers, turning 48 years old today, and Jasmine Ringo, happy birthday to you. And my girl, Felicia Morris, happy birthday to you. And my brother, Marcellus Ruff, go get a Marcellus Ruff. And also go get a Judith Walker, Judith Shannon, Earth Angel Walker, happy birthday to you. And my girl, Sharonda Glam Mom, happy birthday to you, Sharonda. And last but not least, my cuz up there in Milwaukee, my young cuz, Bianca Coleman, happy birthday to you. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And anyone else out there who shares this birthday on this glorious August 31st, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally, all of y'all go ahead and turn up, but don't turn up too loud, just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out, rock on and do the damn thing, you do your thing, y'all, represent the queens and kings, you do your thing, y'all, represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait, great things happen to those who grind, and anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, man, listen, out there looking like a bag of money. And just because you look like money don't mean that you have money. Just because you look like you're strong don't mean that you're strong. Just because you look like you don't care doesn't mean that you don't care. Just because you look like you're in love don't mean that you have love. Just because you look like you're happy don't mean that you're happy. You know what I'm saying? Mary J. Blige said it really well. All I really want is to be happy. And happiness comes in a lot of different forms. For people who don't have money, they think that happiness will come in the form of money. For people who don't have love, they think that happiness will come in the form of love. For people who don't have affection, they think that happiness will come in the form of affection. For people who don't have a car, they think that happiness will come in the form of some type of material item, like a car, like jewelry, like access. But what all of these people have had to find out once they were able to obtain these things was that, nah, man, the story continues. The chapters go on and on and on. There's no end game in this life. There's a continuation game. And the real blessing in this world is to be able to continue with the fervor and with the belief and with the energy that you had when you first started out. The optimism. That's the true blessings. People be thinking that money is a blessing. No, it's not. It can be the curse. You can't say that money is a blessing and it's also the root of evil at the same time. And it is the root of evil. The pursuit of it, the worshiping of it, and a lot of people can't escape that. They know that the greed of money by others who don't have it will make them be the pawn of people who do have it. People always listen to people who have money. Donald Trump, how you think he blew up? People listen to him because he has money. People respect that because they don't know any better. We're not conditioned to understand. I ain't mean to get all on my soapbox and all that kind of stuff. But you know what it is? This might be the realest show I ever did. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. I hope y'all enjoyed listening to the show as much as I enjoyed broadcasting it. We will be back for another Daily Go Getimism show tomorrow for Throwback Thursday. Let's get real about relationships Thursday. But it's Hump Day Wednesday right now, and we still got a few hours left. So I want y'all to have a good night. And if you can't have a good night, make it even better and have a great one. I swear. So, Blog Talk, we gonna get you out of here. I said peace. Yeah.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
And for my YouTubers, you know just how we do, but don't. For my YouTubers, you know just how we do, but thanks for coming on through. See you on the other side, my boobers.